Good afternoon, everybody. I'm your host, Nick Haslam. This is Cosmic Surfers, episode 57. I do apologise if the sound and visuals are not good. I'm on old iMac at the moment. This is coming to you from the second house on the farm, which is aptly named the pod after not only a whale pod, but what was going to be a podcast studio house. Not to be. But I just spent, yesterday, ended up driving quite a long way. I don't know how long it was total, maybe 6 hours or so, to go have a rebirthing breathwork session in person. And I really get a lot out of it. That's one of my preferred methods of shadow work. And also allowing the body to breathe and to help the body to go back to its natural state. Is that there's even though there's a process and there's a person there, it's allowing the body to untie itself and to process what's going on in the body and to free itself up. So the title of this video is likely going to be I Choose Life and Life Chooses Me. Now if you remember one of my previous videos titled Everything is Better Than Everything Else, and that's also from the same rebirthing breathwork tradition. The person that I go to is very good. Yeah, he gets in the show, it's a black bone. And she learned from the original founders of this particular modality. And I've done a course with her as well over in Glastonbury, one of those people. And she's had Leonard Orr at her house where he died. And I guess the reason why I want to bring this up is, I have had positive feedback about a previous video I did on that was similar kind of topic. But as we navigate this world where there is a lot of trauma, there is a lot of the death cult is thick. There's a lot of evil out there. And we know that the process is an inner one. It is one of shadow work, and it is changing our own thoughts, emotions, and actions. I want to continually hammer home these processes that have unlimited thinking and a basis in things like physical immortality. And I know that's a really, really loaded subject. I will just mention it as a buzzword here because I know not too many people will get the depth of it, thinking that it's some kind of fight against the natural process of dying and so forth. But regardless of whether it's truly physical immortality or just longevity, what we do know is that we can live far longer than a natural process, rather than the inversion of these technocrats uploading your consciousness digitally and so forth. One of those processes is moving on thought loops and these what rebirthing calls the death urge. So as you process that death urge, you can choose to merge with life more. And I guess this is just, part of the stagnation, in my experience, can come from like a lack of a willingness to engage in life. You know, it can be a hard slog at times. You know, it can feel like we're always, you know, chipping away, and there's more work to do. And so, as internally, and you know, on this land here, Caterpillar Green, you know, the ancestors are buried here on the head of the caterpillar, behind me. And there is a song of death, which is a song of the land. And it's not what people think. We're always going through this process of death. It is something we integrated. It's not constantly trying to battle death and to choose life. It's over here. Where, you know, parts of ourselves are always dying. And you know, when I reflect back on my time here for the past 9.5 years or so, 9.5, you know, and I was guided to come here. I was in the middle of the Amazon, and with a very direct message to come to this mountain. You know, I'd been past here one time, taking a caravan, but really knew nothing much about it whatsoever. Very clear. I was meant to go into the jungle and to do another 1 month data in isolation. And I got the message to leave the jungle the next day, directly from the plants. And that's why I also recommend working with plants and the plant spirits rather than an isolated form of it. Because in my experience, true medicine is in having a relationship with the spirit of the plant. So when I took that advice, I went into town, I put up my laptop, someone that want to chat, I don't normally answer. At that time I didn't answer chat messages and stuff because everyone was always trying to get in contact with me for various reasons and so forth. And I ended up chatting to this guy because I knew him from a number of years earlier and didn't know at the time that he was working for a new company. Yada yada yada. Ended up selling my company as a result of leaving the jungle, having a conversation, and ended up being able to be the steward of the religion. And so, I guess what I want to add is, and I know it's very buzzwordy, you know, I choose life. What does that mean? I still think that I have more to learn in that regard. Before I can communicate it more effectively. But it's a process of engaging. It's not a stagnant. It's not a static process. It's a willingness to engage in life itself, which is alive. To be in this process of flow, its reciprocal nature, death, birth, rebirth. That's part of it for sure. And what happens when we choose life? Life chooses us. And so this comes back to this, what you focus on grows as well. And as we go through this constant process of dredging up the parts of ourselves that we don't necessarily like or want to shift, or that we do want to shift, or parts of ourselves that are dying off, so we can create space for more to come through. Life chooses us because it's a conscious being. Mother Earth is a conscious being, Father Sun, and our place in the cosmos. Life reciprocates, and life chooses us. And it does take sacrifice, not in some blood ritual kind of way, but to, and I'm not, I mean, maybe this is like a mini brag or something, but it's not really. It's just how it is. Yeah, I could have done my breathwork session online, but I do the results in person. And I am willing to drive those few hours each way to make it happen. And it's also, this is also a message, for, even, if you're on the path for a long time, it can seem like it's never ending. It's like always doing shadow work, always shifting things. And I guess what I'm getting at is that it's from what I've learned, and it's just some feedback that I got from a breathwork teacher. And this is, I want to share my journey along the way. So people think that it's helpful. Is that at a certain point, a lot of people do get to this point where it's like, you get a bit flat. You get stagnant. You're like, I know I'm going to do this part, can't be bothered, but I've got to do it. Show up, it's just losing out of your body. So I wanted to share that. There's some tidbits there, and I will get better at this as we go on. But I wanted to share that because I do want to get beyond the, bro, you're just going to choose life. But life chooses us. We do have to engage with it. And this is a co-created reciprocal process. So if you're finding yourself, like I can at times, maybe dropping out of that connection or that relationship, or that relationship itself, this process that's alive and enriching. It's an important reminder that life also chooses us. And so, Nick has on this for the much